Help, I'm pushing up.
Rotate.
Bruno, they're rotating back. They're rotating back.
They're gonna go. Just rotate, guys. Just rotate. Give it up. Just give it up. Nice. Rotate.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 4 of The Rotation with Z-Hack. We are back. Call of Duty is here. Opening weekend has been completed, and damn, it feels good to have Call of Duty back. The competition is at an all-time high. We had incredible matches. 4v4 is back. We got matches throughout the entire season. Back and forth we go. We're at it. Call of Duty is here, and I could not be more excited that everything is in full swing, and all these teams, they are competing hard this year. Thanks everyone for tuning into The Rotation with Z-Hack. Once again, you guys have shown so much love and support of the show. Make sure you tell all your friends about it. Let's build this thing up and get more people invested in competitive Call of Duty. You know where to find us on Spotify and YouTube, Apple Podcast, and find me on Twitter at ZHack16. So let's get right into this. The show today, it is packed. Lots of content. We have a lot of things to talk about. I have a lot of opinions myself, and I want to hear yours on the social soundboard as well. So hit me up. Tell me what you think about all my takes. But let's get it going with some first blood. And my instant reaction is that we are in for an incredible year of Call of Duty. Hands down, no doubt about it. This year is the most competitive year that we have ever seen, in my opinion. It's 4v4 again. It brings out the best in everyone when we're in 4v4. The competition is at its peak. We have 12 teams and only 4 players a team. Let's do the quick math there. 48 people competing. These are the best that anybody could find. This is the best 48 Call of Duty players in the entire universe going head-to-head all season long, fighting for placements in groups, fighting to win majors, and ultimately fighting to win the multi-million-dollar prize pool that is Call of Duty Champs. On day one, it didn't look great. I was a little bit scared on day one and even through the first 2 days. I think we had one 3-1 match and everything else was a 3-0. And I was like, oh boy. Here we go. This is not going to be good. We have a huge skill gap. There's teams getting hot 3-0'd. I know that it takes a little bit to adapt and learn the game, but I'm not going to lie to you. I was scared because as a viewer, watching 3-0s when there's only 2 matches a day, it's like, all right, let's go. The Call of Duty League is here. Let's watch it. Let's get into it. Bop, 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 hot 3-0. And then it's like, oh, that's it. All the Call of Duty matches are, they're done. And it's only 4 o'clock. My time. Well, that's not good. I wanted to watch more Call of Duty. But then, the rest of the weekend, we get into it, and we're getting 3-2s, round 11s, round 5s in control, the most high-octane plays, no pun intended, but Octane, he started frying this week against the Royal Ravens. I love to see that. Gunless finally figured out how to get off 60 hertz. But I'm going to come back here. I'm going to reel it in here and come back to what my first blood take was initially. I was saying that this is the best competition that we've ever seen. This is going to be the greatest season of Call of Duty that we've had in a long time. Teams started off grinding. We had scrims, but we didn't really know where everybody was going to be. We didn't get to see a lot of scrims. And of course, you can expect the top teams who were there last year to be there again. Your Dallas Empire, Atlanta FaZe, Optic, Chicago, and then the LA Thieves. We knew their roster was going to be really good for 4v4. But when we saw those 3-0s on the first couple of days and the 3-1s and not even close matches, I got a little bit worried. But teams started to get their sea legs under them, started grinding, and then we had some feisty matches between these teams. 4v4 is just better all around. Teams are punished for their mistakes 10 times more than they were in 5v5. When you mess up, it is magnified in 4v4. You can't get away with ego challenging everything on the map, and if you die, it's like, it's all good. My other 4 guys are rotating early. I was trying to pick up that lane, and then I saw an opportunity, took the ego challenge. I either made a big break, or I died, and it's not that big of a deal because we have reinforcements coming in. 4v4, if you have a 1v1 engagement on a rotation on, let's go ahead and say, a garrison hardpoint, if you have a one-on-one engagement in top green and you lose that, your team is punished because it's not looking good. The other team who wins that engagement is most likely gonna hold a full 60 in P2 and even P3 when we've seen teams chain those together. So 4v4 makes things a lot more strategic, and everyone's mistakes are magnified. We saw it throughout this first opening weekend with the Atlanta FaZe home series, even though it's not really a home series because we're not on land. But regardless, we saw it multiple times where somebody didn't win an engagement that they needed to, or lost a rotation, or made a mistake with their positioning and lost spawns, and it resulted in them losing the opportunity to win the rotation to P2 or P3 on Garrison or even P2 on Checkmate, and they got a full 60 held against them. And when you do stuff like that, you're not winning that hard point because it's going to take a lot to come back from that. When you think about it, a team, they hold a full 60, and if they got some scrap, like split 30 or even contested a little bit on P1, they almost have damn near 100-point lead on you going through the first set of rotations still. So all they have to do is play fundamental, trade out kills, rotate 15, 20 seconds early, and you're not coming back from that 100-point deficit unless you make something happen that's ginormous. So 4v4 is stellar. Like I said, this competition, and I'm going to talk about this more when we get into the Barracks news and notes from around the league, but the competition that we're seeing this year with the 48 best players in the universe playing Call of Duty, going at it against one another, I mean, it's heightened. The competition is heightened to a level that we've never seen before. I honestly liked what we saw with this sort of setup, despite there not being a whole lot of matches. But what it kind of has done, the Call of Duty League that is, outside of bringing this great competition that I just talked about in, viewers have a lot of incentive this year, and I like that a lot. I enjoy it. We all knew the drops are coming in with calling cards and emblems and weapon charms and everything that the Call of Duty and YouTube have partnered on to implement for the viewers. But Pick'em is incredible. That is the best thing that they could have done. I know last season we were able to fill out our champs bracket, but Pick'em throughout the entirety of the year is the best thing that the Call of Duty League has done to incentivize fans to watch and be invested in the CDL throughout the year. They're giving away prizes like no other. I know I'm wearing Turtle Beaches. I apologize because Astro is the sponsor of the Call of Duty League. That's my bad. I've worn Turtle Beaches my entire life. Maybe I'll make the switch here soon enough. Who knows what's going to happen. But regardless, the incentives that have been brought in with Pick'em are incredible. You have a shot to win each stage that goes through it. You have the chance to win an Astro headset and one of these bad boys, a Scuf Gaming CDL controller. That's incredible. This is the best thing a gamer can have. Shout out to Scuf Gaming. If you don't have a Scuf, go out and get one because it will make your gameplay 10 times better. You'll be hitting shots like Dashy. You'll be frying like a Beezy. You'll be looking like Octane or Gunless when he's finally found out how to get off of 60 hertz. And the Call of Duty League is just giving these away if you have a top tier bracket in Pick'em. It is incredible what they have brought in to incentivize viewing. I had a rough week in Pick'em. I think I split, went 500. My girlfriend, not even invested in the Call of Duty League. I just said, hey, you want to do this Pick'em thing with me? Because we enjoy doing football Pick'em throughout the NFL season. We have, a little bit of bets on the line, some pride involved. She's top 30 in the world right now. Just absolutely smoking my brother, Witness, and myself. I hope she wins that Scuf controller for me, I'm not going to lie, because she won't use it. But this is what I'm talking about. The CDL needed to do things to draw in new viewership, and they're checking all the boxes so far this season. Pick'em to give away free stuff. Who doesn't like a brand new headset, brand new controller, or a team pack with a jersey? Everyone is going to want that, so why not do Pick'em and watch how those matches unfold? Giving away the weapon charms. Having drops like they did last year with Chipotle. Bringing weapon skins into the game, bringing team skins into the game. The Call of Duty League is doing incredible right now to incentivize viewership. That's my first blood right there. 4v4 competition is back. The Call of Duty League is in for an incredible year. And on top of that, Pick'em is incentivizing viewership like we have never seen before in the Call of Duty League. And I think it is incredible what they've done with it. And I can't wait for every stage to make my picks because it makes it so much more worthwhile to watch. I'm so much more invested in the matches if I don't have a tie to a team because you all know, you know, since I was a kid, I loved watching Optic Gaming just because the content they put out, I felt like I could be relatable when they were in the Scuf House or 60/50, like, oh, I know these guys. I'm getting a sight into their life. So I fell in love with them, but now I love every team in the Call of Duty League and I have an unbiased reporting. But as you can see right here, I'm swagged out in my Optic Founders sweatshirt. But now that I'm watching the matches with Pick'em involved, I'm rooting for teams I never have before. Let's go, Seattle Surge! Come on! Win that map 5 against London. Bam, they do it. Guess what? I picked 3-2 Seattle. I'm hype. These are the things that are huge with Pick'em. Call of Duty League, you're doing a great job incentivizing viewership. We are going to continue to grow this league, and I love it. Those are my first blood takes right there, an instant reaction. But now it's time to talk about the Barracks news and notes from around the league. So I kind of talked about this in my first blood, but the competition looks incredible, and the skill gap with those 48 players has gone from here in the past when we've had the CWL and MLG tournaments and things like that, where it's just like, yeah, these guys are going to fry. They're going to win their pool play. We already know who's going to be in the finals. Now, the skill gap is down to here. 4v4, 12 teams. I talked about it already. And we have seen some big upsets already who people have not thought were going to happen. And we've seen some of the tightest matches that we have in a while. A lot of 3-2s on the final couple of days, and it's incredible. In my opinion, once teams figure out all their visa issues and get everyone in check and on the same page, and when they have the opportunity to scrim together, practice together, and get some matches in the CDL together and are all on the exact same page, in the exact same book, living together on good internet, this league is going to be insane to the membrane. The competition will be incredible. We saw insane storylines, insane comebacks, and a lot of upsets already this weekend. The biggest one to highlight, I think, was the Minnesota Rocker, their win against the Dallas Empire. The reigning champions of the Call of Duty League. We knew they were going to be a force to be reckoned with this year, and I don't want to toot my own horn and, pat my own back and boast too much here, but I talked about it in the first episode of the rotation this year that I said the Minnesota Rocker, they are a dark horse team and a force to be reckoned with. I said that roster with attach, accuracy, and then those guys that were poached and stolen from FaZe onto this Minnesota Rocker roster in Priesta and Major Maniac, I knew that team was going to be disgusting. They have a lot of work to do still, but they beat the Dallas Empire, and that is huge because that shows that everybody in this league is vulnerable. The Rocker did not look good in Hardpoint at all. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't good. Their search and destroy was so good, though. Major Maniac, throughout the years, he's been an SnD god. We've seen him in the online scene playing those SnD tournaments, and that's translated to the Call of Duty League. We are bound to see matches like that for the rest of the season, and that is why the competition is the best of the best, because nobody is safe. Optic aren't safe. They lost to FaZe. Got smoked in both search and destroys. 12-1. The Rocker took down the defending champion Dallas Empire. The Seattle Surge have finally won a match. 3 maps to 2. It was stellar. It was a lot of fun. It was great to watch. The LA Gorillas are back and competing in the Call of Duty League, taking down the Paris Legion. Toronto Ultra came out of left field. Zinni, Kleenex, Bance, Cammy, they said, no, not so fast. You guys have all been hyping up the Florida Mutineers. We're going to go ahead and smoke them 3-1. This league is going to be incredible. It will be the most competitive league of the entire Call of Duty realm throughout we have seen in recent history. I love it. I am so excited to watch Call of Duty every single weekend. It was Valentine's Day on Sunday. I came home from work. I opened at the golf course, got home, and Meg, my girlfriend, she said, you want to watch some Call of Duty? She doesn't play video games. She doesn't care. And she did that for me. She said, let's watch the CDL matches. And I sat down and she was asking questions. She was saying, okay, so what's this hardpoint thing? How does this work? Okay, so it's basically King of the Hill, where the hill rotates every 60 seconds. If you're the only team, if you have one player in there, you get a point per second, first to 250 wins. And then she says, well, does it matter if you kill people then? Yeah, because you earn certain advantages on the map with power points, and you earn rotation so you can chain hills together, and you kind of acclimate time quicker that way. Oh, okay. What's this control one? Oh, okay, so this one, there's 2 different sites. The offense, you either capture both, but here's the thing. Both teams have a limited number of lives that they get, so you want to stay alive as much as you can. If you kill them, then they lose a life set. They either go down to respawns, and the offense can win by capturing both the points in the allotted time, or if they wipe out all the enemies' respawns. So she's asking all these questions, and I'm able to explain this to her and bringing a new fan of the Call of Duty League. It was great. I'm so excited for this year. She's invested. She's top 30 in the world in Pick'em, and she's just learning about Call of Duty. It warms my heart to bring a new fan, let alone someone I care about more than anything in the world, and she's showing interest in my hobby just because it's my hobby and my passion and what I want to do for a living. Not play professional Call of Duty. I can't do that. But I want to report on it and be a voice for the Call of Duty League. So that hypes me up so much to see people who are on the outside come into the Call of Duty League, and we are giving them the best. The competition will be at its peak this year. No one's going to be trash this year. I'm putting my name on it right now. There will not be a trash team this year. Everyone will compete. They'll be at the best of the best, and that's going to be awesome to watch all season long. The next thing that I like now, what's different from what we saw last year in Modern Warfare, is that pros have adapted to an online league and are making a best of the situation. I love it. Last year, 5v5, yada, 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 Modern Warfare, COVID happens. We have to go to an online league after like the first couple home series. Everyone complained about it and whined about it. It sucked. No one wanted to have that happen, but all these teams are saying, oh, they're just onliners. They couldn't even win. And the fans alike, calling the Florida Mutineers, oh, they're just an online team. They suck. Awakening as a Cronus. We can't prove it. That was all garbage. That's a terrible attitude to have. And now, from everyone feeling like that, now that we've all been able to adapt to an online league and all these teams have been able to, move to Texas or be central and play together. They prepared for an online league this season, so they don't have as many excuses. Everyone's adapted and acclimated to the circumstance that's at hand. And they said, listen, we know we're going to be online this year. Let's make the best of the situation. Nobody's complaining, and we've seen situations that could have gone poorly this past weekend, but the Call of Duty League, they've also adjusted and made things work. We saw it in the Dallas Empire Minnesota Rocker series. We all thought, and even on the broadcast, Maven said, Rocker are getting smoked in this first hardpoint. It's going to be a 100-point club. It might even be like 250-2 final score after the first couple rotations. We thought it was just chalked and Minnesota was getting smoked by Dallas, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to rethink what I said about this Minnesota team. I said they're a dark horse and they could win champs, and they're getting routed. But no, we adapted. In an online league, we're going to have flaws like this. The whole Minnesota team was lagging. They couldn't even play the match. Accuracy said, relax, we're replaying it. We're not getting smoked that bad. Then they went on, they replayed it. Minnesota still lost most of the respawns. They lost the hard points because that's not their strongest suit right now. But the Call of Duty League and the rule set and all the teams have adapted, and it's great to see. We are in an online league. Let that register in your head right now. They've done a great job. They said, no, we're replaying the first match. That's not happening. And we saw Octane on Twitter, of course, saying, ooh, a replay. Interesting. And, of course, he had to poke that out there because of what happened to Seattle so many times last season. But it's great to see us making the best of the situation. We're in an online league. Everyone is making it happen the best we can. But at the end of the day, damn, I miss LAN. Because some of these intense matchups will highlight the final one of the weekend on Sunday. Optic versus FaZe. Imagine that environment if they're on LAN. Let me role play this for you real quick, okay? Let me get into my mindset here. Okay, we're in the map 4 hardpoint. I'm a Beezy. Hold on, I gotta shrink a little bit. The tiny tear. I'm just messing with you, Abeezy. But okay, I'm in my mindset. I'm Abeezy. We're on this Moscow hardpoint. I'm going. I pick up the Craig on bus, get up, bop, 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 3-piece, and then here you go. Here's the thing. We're on LAN instead of online. This is what happened. Abeezy goes like this. Gets the 3-piece. Let's go! You're trash! You guys are garbage! Sit down! Optic, what? I don't care! Get out of my face! And then he turns around, daps up Simp, daps up Arcides, goes like this to Celium. Then Optic are just sitting there like this. Oh my God, if that was on LAN, we would be blessed. That would be the best thing to ever happen, so I miss LAN. That's what I mean to say by all this. It's great that we're having the league still. We figured out how to do it online, but the different environment and the hype from the crowd and the players, how we can talk smack to each other across the stage and LAN, those are the things that you don't miss them until they're gone. If you've ever been to an actual Call of Duty match in person, the one that I've been to was Anaheim back in Infinite Warfare. I think LG ended up winning that one. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. The fans are crazy. You have all the booths there. You can compete in tournaments. Everyone's screaming. Players are standing up over their monitors, talking to the crowd, hyping themselves up, talking smack across the arena. I miss LAN. I hope we can get it back soon. It's been possibly leaked and teased that we may get a bubble in Texas for champs. I hope so. Even if it's just the teams, no fans, because I understand you got to keep people safe. If we can get LAN for champs, that is the best case scenario. I miss it a lot, but the online league is doing us justice, and I love it. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is I have a bone to pick with a lot of you. And I'm going to stare you straight in the eyes for this one. Scorestreaks are back. Scorestreaks make Call of Duty better. That was my take when Cold War dropped and I was just playing pubs all the way back in November. And all of you came out to me and said, oh, Zhack, you're an idiot. They ruin competitive. They're not going to use Scorestreaks in the CDL. That's so stupid. You're an idiot. That's the worst take I've ever heard. Scorestreaks will never be used. They're pointless. They ruin the game. They ruin competitive. Scorestreaks are back. I was right, and I get my revenge on all of you who were talking trash to me. And you can't even tell me, now that we've seen a weekend with Scorestreaks, that they don't add an incredible amount of excitement and strategy to the game of Call of Duty. Scorestreaks change every single game. It changes control. It changes the outcome of hardpoint. It changes the outcome of search and destroy. It makes teams pay more attention than anything that they ever have before. Because not only in control, you have to keep track of lives, you have to keep track of what's going on, who's rotating where, get your callouts in check. You have to see what's going on around the map too. You have to say, holy cow, C6 is on at least an 8 right now. Does he have streaks? You have to know and identify that. It brings so much more strategy, and then Dallas can play around that. Crim can say, yo, I got an artillery, let's cap B real quick, and then I can streak out A, we easily win an offensive round of control. They can be down 5 lives in control, he streaks out, picks up 4, they get the momentum, they set up on tank, they set up top green on garrison, and Streaks just won them a round of control. They make Call of Duty so much better. Streaks are back. The excitement is here. Cruise missile and artillery. It's huge. I just talked about what it did in control. It does the same thing in search and destroy. You can plan around planting or defending and forcing the team to that bomb that's outside and doesn't have a lot of cover, because then you can just streak it. In hardpoint, it allows you the chance to make a poor rotation. If you're behind in a game of hardpoint, like 100 points, and let's say on P1 in Garrison, I know I've talked about that a lot. Let's talk about a different map for the sake of it. Let's say Moscow hardpoint. P2 and P3 are both outside there. So let's say you're down 100 points. You fight for everything in P1, and then you pick up streaks. Okay? So you pick up streaks while you're in P1. You didn't rotate over to P2 because you're down by 100 and you needed to hold as much time as you can. Let's say you held it out really well. You got 45 or 50 seconds on P1. You've cut that 100-point lead down to about, 60 or so. So you're down by 60, 55 in that realm. You picked up a cruise missile and an artillery. The other team has already rotated, but guess what? You call in that cruise missile, you force them out of the hill strategically, your guys rotate through mid, they get the back spawns, they go wide on street, and then boom, you won that rotation with the cruise missile. On top of that, you saved your artillery. You end up breaking P2, you hold that, you don't rotate early to P3, guess what? Artillery comes in, same thing happens. Streaks make the game so much more strategic. They make Call of Duty so much better. You have so much more to play for. And you can use your teammates to trade out. A BZ can go, yo, I'm on a 5. Someone come with me and we're going to trade your life so I can keep picking up easy kills. Okay, boom, I got streaks. There we go. We win this match easy. The team that's close to streaks plays for streaks, and the team who's on the defensive of that have to identify that the other team has the streaks, and it's like, yo, we're going to get broken. We have to prepare for these streaks, get ready to run inside, pop trophies so they can't streak and stun, and we have to be able to recover from this. Streaks are the best thing in Call of Duty. I've said it for forever. They make the game so much more exciting, so much better from a viewership perspective. It is a lot more thrilling to watch a game as a fan if you know that incentive is there and you see streaks coming in. Same thing goes for the players. It brings so much more. It's a different element to the game. I am so happy that streaks are back. We needed it. I know we had specialists in Black Ops 4. The Tempest was huge. The Grav Slam was huge for breaks, and streaks were in that game. It was the best thing to watch. A huge comeback on Seaside Hardpoint. We saw streaks in Infinite Warfare be huge on a throwback hardpoint. Streaks make Call of Duty better. Period. Plain and simple. You called me an idiot at the beginning of the year for saying that. Get out of here. I win. I have the last laugh. I get the last laugh. Streaks are important. They make the game better. I'm going to compose myself now. I'm going to cool down. I'm going to take a sip of my latte real quick. Now it's time to get fired up again. We're going to talk about Search and Destroy. Oh, we had some great matches of Search and Destroy this weekend, I'm not going to lie. The final one on Raid between the London Royal Ravens and Seattle when Haggy picks up a huge ace, pops off in top laundry. It was great. It was so much fun to watch. But Search and Destroy can be better still. Right now it's just a trade fest. And teams are still chalking it and throwing away lives. You saw people like Tupac, other coaches and players around the CDL who have been there before and been SnD gods who are scratching their heads saying, what the hell are teams doing right now? And I was doing the same thing while watching the broadcasts. I said, okay, we're on Miami, SnD, you picked up a first blood. You have a 4v3 life advantage. Okay, that makes sense to me. And then you have someone solo pushing lobby, getting smoked. You're throwing away the life advantage at that point. What are you doing? Play towards a site together. All you have to do is trade out the 3v4 and you win the round. Teams were choking SnD hard this past weekend. That's not even my biggest point about this. Teams will get better at SnD and strategies and trading, I hope, as the game goes on. But there were some poor mistakes made and some clutches. We saw earlier in the week Shotzi turn on Looney. Oh, my God. Poor Looney. Poor Looney. Got smoked mid-map on Miami, and it was a tough one to watch. We saw a lot of big mistakes like that. But at the end of the day, we need some other things to come back to SnD. Please fix smokes so I can see the sniper in Dashy's hand. So I can see the sniper in Simp's hand. Please fix the one-way smoke problem. Because I know that Optic got absolutely manhandled in the series against FaZe. 6-0, 6-1 in the SnD. It was not pretty. They looked terrible. But I'm one to say that's a completely different series, and the result might have even been different if there were smokes and snipers. Dashy would have been a menace on the map. if he had the sniper in his hand. That's not to say Simp wouldn't counter him, and that FaZe still wouldn't have won that series in Smoked, Optic, and SnD. But like I said, streaks bring a whole nother element to the game. Smokes and snipers do the exact same. We need to fix it so smokes can be good, not a one-way smoke, so snipers aren't as overpowered. That will make things a lot better in SnD. That needs to be fixed. Teams need to learn how to trade their lives better, not make these huge mistakes and just play isolated situations because we saw it happen a lot. And on top of that, we need smokes and snipers so search and destroy is a little bit more exciting. That's my huge point on that. Now we're going to talk about how much talent we've seen in the Call of Duty League and what's coming in. The challenger scene is huge this year. We've seen the elite pop off. Shout out to those guys running it and doing their best to make it noticeable and put it in the fans' eyes as it's not just the CDL. I hold Shift, Visions. You guys are doing a great job with the streams there, making it incredible for fans to watch that. But also we're seeing the best talent that we have to offer in the challenger scene. The first player who we saw finally make their return to the league, Haggy, it was good to see him back. He started slow on the first couple maps in the series against Seattle, but games 3 through 5, he got hot. In that raid, SnD, oh boy. I think he went 11-5. Is that what he did? Something like that. Even though they lost the series, we saw Haggy back with Farico Impact on raid, and ding ding, it was like flashbacks for me. It felt good to see Parasite back on the map. I hope we see a couple of other former names or either of these new names if teams don't like the way that they're looking and they need to pick someone up out of the challenger scene. Oh, there's a few players who are on my mind. I'd love to see Nagafin back in the league. I'd love to see Mox back in the league. I apologize if you guys hear a dog barking, because I do too. I live in an apartment complex. It's what you got to deal with. But I'd love to see those guys back. I'd love to see some of the guys from Westar get a chance. Some of these guys from the NYSL. Hi, Murphy. My dog's here too. He's saying what's up. Some of these guys from the NYSL Academy team. I think we're huge. We have a lot of competitors who have a chance to break into the Call of Duty League and make it more exciting. Some of these guys will break through and shine. I've talked about it before. It's becoming the Rookie League and the Youth League. We've seen Dimacon Fire and Neptune hop in. These guys will have huge careers because the current people who are there, who have been there for a long time, they're going to be out the door eventually. Scump, Formal, Crimsix, Clayster, these guys are all going to retire eventually. And as fans, we have to see the up-and-comers and say, ooh, I like this guy. But right now, it's good to feel nostalgia, have guys like Haggy back, but I'm excited for the new players to come into the Call of Duty League. Haggy, keep popping off. It's exciting to watch. I hope we get some new guys into the league if some of the current guys aren't performing. The Call of Duty League, it's ruthless. It is ruthless and relentless. If you aren't performing, you'll get bopped out because there's a lot of young talent waiting. Lots and lots of young talent. I'm going to kind of segue that and chain it into talking where the Call of Duty League is right now before we get into reviewing this previous weekend and sort of looking forward into the next weekend. The CDL right now is ultra competitive. I think when teams find their stride who maybe underperformed, because at first I thought the league was broken into sort of two tiers, and it's like, well, last year, you have the 6 best and then the 6 guys who aren't going to compete and make it into champs. Or shine in the championships and crack the top 3, top 4. We kind of knew the outcome of everything that was going to happen last season. This season is a lot more competitive. And I think there's a lot of different teams who will stand out and shine. I think we'll see people break through like the subliners. Toronto Ultra will be strong. I've already talked about Minnesota Rocker. And they might trade spots with some of these other teams. We saw Florida get it handed to them this past weekend. They'll still compete, but this league is tight. You saw Rambo Ray talk about it as well in a recent interview that he did. He said, it's anyone's league. Anyone can win a match any given weekend. There are no guarantees in the Call of Duty League. The Dallas Empire are the best of the best, man. They won champs last year. They came in riding a high. And the Minnesota Rocker made it seem like they're human finally. This league is tight. The top tier teams, we've already seen the incredible matches that they produce. Atlanta FaZe Optic Chicago, 3-2. Empire Rocker, 3-2. And then the other teams who are sort of on the same level, 3-2 Seattle and London. Toronto, 3-1 over the Florida Mutineers. This league is tight, man. This is great. Every match is important and so fun to watch. There's so much incentive for the players in these matches throughout each particular stage headed into the major. Because at the end of the day, you want to start in the winner's bracket. Let's go ahead and pull it up right now before we go through the entire match breakdown of last weekend. Let me go ahead and get all this going. Bear with me for a second. Okay, so that's next week's matches, yada, yada, yada. Let's hop into where the standings are right now, okay? So I'm going to pop the screen over here. We're going to pull up the preview. And we have the CDL standings right now. We know it's broken into Group A and Group B. And basically, to break it down for you, how we have these standings, these are overalls right now through the week. The LA Thieves sit at the top. That's overall. But each stage, or each group rather, with the teams who are broken into it, the top three from each spot, whether it be Group A or Group B, they break into the winner's bracket. Other than that, everyone else is starting in the loser's bracket, and that's not good to see. You don't want to be there. So all these matches are so important for these teams to compete with. Everything is huge. The LA Thieves looked incredible. You see it right here, a 6-1 map count. They started off 2-0. While we see that, highlighting their series, the one where it was against Rocker, I mean, it has to shock you. After the Rocker beat the Empire, it's like, how the hell do they drop 3-1 to the LA Thieves? Like, where do these teams stand? Who's the best of the best? We don't know yet. We got to keep watching to find out. But other than that, the LA Thieves versus New York Subliners series, you have to take into account everything that the Subliners have been going through. You have to see that they've had the challenges with Hydra. They picked up DiamondCon, who looks pretty good so far. But other than that, that series could have been a lot tighter than what it was. The Thieves ended up winning 3-0 over the Subliners, but in my opinion, it easily could have been a 3-2, even in favor of the Subliners. The first hard point on Moscow, 250 to 241. Miami Search and Destroy, 6-5 in favor of Thieves. Lastly, the Raid Control, 3-2 Thieves. Don't sleep on the Subliners, folks. They're here to stay. Trust me. They looked extremely good. The Subliners are slept on right now, in my opinion. We know the problems that they're going through, that they will be here to stay. I can promise you that NYSL, under the leadership of Clayster, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with and incredible this season. I can promise that. I can bet you that they'll be one of the top teams here. We saw everything else that went on here between these teams and who wins. I mean, the Seattle Surge get a huge first win, get on the board, 1-1, 3-5 map count. LAG made their statement. Atlanta FaZe started 2-0. We expected them to be either 1-1 or 2-0. The Ultra had a huge upset over the Mutineers, and that was one that kind of stood out to me. Because the Ultra were a team where I knew they had the talent. I said, listen, these guys are good. But I thought the Mutineers, I mean, Skies and Awakening, I had faith in them. But there were question marks. I know that Slacked has been great and a well-renowned player in 4v4, but there were question marks as Havoc got benched for Neptune, how Neptune would perform, how he would gel with the team, how Slacked would kind of take a hold of him. That was the only match Florida played on the weekend. They lost 3-1 to Toronto. Methods looked great. Bance is performing again. I mean, when he was on Splice back in the day, he was huge. He was an incredible jetpack player. Didn't really have the season I wanted to see out of him last year in Modern Warfare, but Bance looks good. Kleenex and Cammy, they look stellar as well. So, I mean, breaking down these matches from the weekend, some of the tightest we've ever seen. The standings, I mean, everyone's going to be battling for the next 3 weeks to get into this major and be seated in the winner's bracket. It is so important for these teams. I'm going to drop out of this graphic right here, thanks to the CDL for having this one up. We're going to go ahead and X out of that, and then bear with me for a second while I try to pick up the other one that I just screenshotted late. All right, so this is the next one. That's the same one we just had up. Where's this last screenshot that I had? Give me a second here, folks. Okay, here we go. We're getting it up. Bear with me. Taking my time. All right, so now this is what we need to see with the group stages and how they're laid out. So in Group A, you have LA Thieves, Dallas Empire, Seattle Surge, Minnesota Rocker, the Royal Ravens, and the Subliners. Let's focus on that group real quick and look at these standings. LA Thieves are gross. We're seeing Kenny, or Quavo, sorry, changed his name. Freaks me out a little bit still. I gotta get with the times. I mean, him, TJ, Slasher, those guys are running it up. Temp is back too. They look really good. The Thieves are playing out of their minds. I mean, Slasher, we know how he's been in the past. He's one of the most stellar leaders that you can find on a team. He knows how to get guys in check. TJ is gelling with it. And Kenny, I mean, he's showing signs of World War II Kenny. He's playing incredible. And this LA Thieves team, I mean, after the first weekend, I think they've earned that spot where they sit number one right now. They are the best team, especially in that group. I think overall, if you look in Group B, Atlanta FaZe may be better than them. But the LA Thieves look really, really good. The Dallas Empire, we saw signs of weakness in their armor as they fell to the Rocker, but look how tight this bracket is. 2, 3, 4, everyone 1-1 so far. Rocker, Surge, Empire, and then the bottom two teams, they only played one match this past weekend. But we'll talk about it looking forward to the following matches this upcoming week on Thursday. The Subliners and Royal Ravens, they're no joke. I mean, the Subliners are a really stellar squad. I think they could hop into the 3-4 spot. I think the Rocker could leapfrog and get up there into the top 2 or 3 as well. So Group A is tight, and I think the drawing, everything worked out pretty well to have the competition the way it is right now. Looking over at Group B, FaZe, they're right where they belong. Ultra, same thing. I know that I had question marks about their roster, and they proved me after week 1. We'll see if they can keep it going. But the Ultra look really good. Optic, I mean, they're going to be stellar. It's how they bounce back. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I said they have potential and the chance to be the best team in the CDL if they can handle adversity and losses. We saw Dashy kind of lose full after they lost to FaZe. And this is the shining moment for these guys. Instead of getting pissed off, chalking it up, and letting you get angry and your ego in the way, you got to be able to cool down and deal with it. You're going to lose. No one's going to be perfect. So this is the point that I was talking about with the Optic squad. I think they can handle adversity and do it great, and they'll still be one of the best. Not knocking them at all. You're playing the Atlanta FaZe. Arguably the best 2 teams in the league, but certainly top 4. Like, it's going to be a close match, and someone has to lose, someone has to win. You got to regain and know, hey, we held it that close, we just got to tighten up our search. But for FaZe, they earned their spot. 2-0, they belong right where they are at the top of Group B. Same thing for Ultra, same thing for Optic. The Gorillas looked good too. Mutineers have to tighten a lot of things up, in my opinion, in the Paris Legion. They're right there. I mean, they lost to 3-2. They just need to kind of pick some things up. Teams will find their stride. They'll be able to practice and get into a groove. But I think that Group A will ultimately be a little tighter than Group B. I think the top 3 that you see in Group B is kind of where they'll stand. They may be shuffled in the order a little bit, but it'll be FaZe, Ultra, and Optic who get a bye. Right now in Group A, I mean, if I had to say so, it's going to be Thieves, Empire, and Rocker or Subliners, in my opinion. And it could even be, I mean, who knows? Empire could drop out to the Subliners if they start performing. So this is a really, really tight season. Like I mentioned with the Subliners, I'm kind of riding a high on them right now, even though they're 1-0. Clay is such a good leader. DiamondCon looks good, man. This team is going to be special. I mean, they held and stood in strong against the LA Thieves. There's no doubt in my mind that the Subliners can kind of bounce back and be good. Mac and Sim, I mean, they played really well too. In that first hardpoint, Sim had a 1.2 KD, 33 and 26 with 5K damage. I mean, these guys looked really good. Asim, he was a god in the respawns. He dropped a little bit in SnD, but then that's when Diamondcon and Clay picked it up. They went 12-8 and 11-9 in the SnD. They just couldn't close out the series. And Kenny, I mean, he was a god on the map in that SnD on Miami, 16-7. So Group A, I'm more excited to watch than Group B, but I think, like I've mentioned, we're in for a stellar year. Let me know what you all thought of the first weekend and what you think of how these groups played out. On Twitter at ZHack16 or in the comments on the YouTube video. You find us by going to YouTube, Zach Warhack, Z-A-C-H, space W-O-R-H-A-C-K, or you can just type the rotation with ZHack. That's how you find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Let me know what you think from the first weekend. And now, after talking about where the groups stand, we're going to move over and talk about the schedule for this upcoming weekend. Because I think we're in for some more great matches. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm not going to make the full-on predictions as I did this past weekend, and I know I've had you guys for 45 here already, so bear with me, but there's a lot to talk about. So looking in to Stage 1, Week 2, this is the time with that first match where Florida, I mean, Thursday is huge for both matchups. This is a time for Florida to prove their point that they can make a difference from where they were. Because they didn't look great in their first matchup. Now they have a chance to do it against LAG. But LAG showed that they can win. I mean, the Gorillas, they have a 4v4 roster, man. Apathy and Silly have been stellar. We know that those guys have both been good and well-renowned throughout Call of Duty for a long, long time now. LAG looks really good. Vivid is, I mean, he's a great addition, and Assault is the same thing. Those guys are stellar in Respawn, and Vivid, I mean, he's the first blood maniac in SnD. Florida has to tighten up on some things. Skies and Awakening, they both need to pop off. I mean, that's the duo that has to happen, and you have to have somebody else pick up the slack, no pun intended. It might have to be Jerry for Florida. So looking at that matchup in Group B, that's the 4 and 5 team right there. I don't know. I don't know anything. My predictions were, like I said, 500 the first week. But just breaking down these matchups, I think Florida may be a better Respawn team just because the slaying prowess they have with the ARs, but the search and destroy of LA is really good. And if they force a Game 5, if they can pick up a hard point and control, I mean, LAG, I think, is a better search team. Ooh, Murph, you dropped down good on the bed there, man. I'll show you guys Murphy at the end of the podcast. That's my dog, Beautiful Chocolate Lab. Best friend in the world. But that first matchup on Thursday, it's going to be tight. The next one, I mean, Toronto, they showed up. We saw Zinni getting hype on social media, saying, he literally said, F your predictions. Because everyone had Ultra dropping to the Mutineers, and then they just end up smoking them 3-1. They play Optic. That's going to be a matchup for the ages. I think Optic will end up taking it, but I mean, that's the 2 and 3 teams right now in Group B. That one could be tighter than expected. I mean, it's going to be a challenge for Optic Chicago. They have to show up in that match. I mean, there's no wiggle room. They got to play big there. That's a highlight. Like, that is, it's not a Game Fuel marquee match, but that is a Game Fuel marquee match, in my opinion. That's going to be a tight matchup on the weekend. I think Optic will end up winning it. But, I mean, it's a toss-up in the air. Like I said, Bance has been stellar since he was on Splice in 4v4. And Methods has just grown into the player he is today. And Cammy and Kleenex are two young gods. Like, they are stellar young talent. Both these rosters are stacked. I'm excited to watch that one. Moving to Friday, Surge and Minnesota Rocker. Surge are starting to look better and better. They're improving. I don't think they've hit their full potential in Stride yet, but they're better. I mean, the way that Rocker have looked in respawns, though, Seattle have an opportunity. Like, if they can take a couple of hard points, they're probably going to lose Search and Destroy to Minnesota. But if they can win hard points and sneak a control, like, that's the end of the story if you can take a Search and Destroy as well. If not, you have to win all 3 respawns because Minnesota, them and FaZe, they're arguably the best 2 SnD teams in the league. LA Thieves looked really good too, so I can't discredit them. But that, I think Minnesota will take it. I think they'll tighten things up in their respawns and end up winning that. Regardless, Seattle are starting to get better and better. It's fun to finally have the opportunity to root for them because it's hard. It is hard when you have a team that's not incredible to root for. But Seattle are getting better. They haven't hit their stride yet. They still have a lot of things to clean up, but they are a team that is fun to root for. Like I've said, you know, I've been a fan in the past of certain teams because how they do online content, and I like the personalities and the players who are on the rosters. But I'm just a fan of the Call of Duty League now. I'm unbiased. I'm enjoying the matches. I'm rooting for my pick'em, and it's fun to see people succeed. And how I can see the branding of all these teams go through, it's important because it makes a fan out of everyone. I think Minnesota take that one. This next one is a huge match. Subliners Royal Ravens on Friday afternoon. I think Subliners get on the board and win their first match of group, or the stage 1, week 2. And the Subliners will go to 1-1, and the Royal Ravens will drop to 0-2, which is big. This roster and the way that New York looked against LA Thieves, that proved a lot to me. Because there were question marks as Hydra hasn't been able to play with them. They had to pick up Diamond Con. How's Sim, Mac, and Clayster and all those guys going to gel together? It's just fun to see Clay as a leader. He grabs these guys, says, yo, we're doing this, and this. We're going to be good. Because you know Clay, he doesn't take any BS. He says, I'm a competitor. I want to win. I think New York end up winning this matchup, and they're going to get on the board in Group A. It's been kind of hard to see only 2 matches a day, but the weekend is fun to watch 3. So I think where we are, we can't complain too much about how the play works in the CDL. So Saturday, we get a T-Mobile match, Game Fuel marquee match. I love the Game Fuel matches because you get double points in your pick'em, which is huge. I think in the first match here, Dallas, they bounce back against the Royal Ravens. I certainly think they win that matchup. And if you look at the standings, that puts London in a really, really tough spot because they'll be 0-3 according to my predictions. So London really needs to steal one of these matchups, whether it be against New York or if they can miraculously beat Dallas. But I think Dallas is going to be pissed off after how they lost to Minnesota. So I think those guys will come out swinging. Hugh, Shotzi, Krim. I mean, it's going to be stellar to watch them. Illy, he'll pop off again. I think Dallas will win that. Next on the docket, I think Optic possibly go 2-0 this weekend. I think they have a tougher matchup on Thursday against the Ultra than they do against LA. But who's to know? Because LA have proven themselves to become, they've up and come with the 4v4. Like I said, all your predictions from last year, discredit them. Because 4v4 is a completely different game. A lot of these players, they have been stellar 4v4 players. It fits their play style. It suits them better. They're slower. They trade. They know how to read spawns in the map and rotations and what they need to do and how to strategize and how not to cost them and make big mistakes. Like a lot of these guys on LA, like Silly and Apathy, they know what they're doing. So you have to watch out for them in 4v4, but I think Optic tape get last match. Toronto FaZe, holy cow, that's going to be huge. Last year, Toronto beat FaZe in the end of their home series. So Toronto won their own home series by beating FaZe. We saw the big clutch. It was the 1v2 from Methods at the end of it. But FaZe just looks so hot, man. They're stellar. The tiny tears are disgusting. Arcides pops off on that team, and Celium is just, he's gross as well. FaZe are a force to be reckoned with, but that's going to be a hot Game Fuel marquee matchup to watch. I think it could go 3-1, 3-2, 3, I don't know, 3-0. Who knows? Because I'm still figuring out Toronto. They've proven themselves to me, and I'm putting them where they deserve to be up top, but just figuring them about in that high level of competition like against Atlanta FaZe. To move it on to Sunday, I think this is one where the Mutineers get back. They could lose to LAG on Thursday, but I think they'll beat Paris. That's going to be good for them. They could go 1-1, 2-1 overall, and that could put them in, the top 3 or 4. It would probably put them sitting at number 3, I would say, on number 4 probably for Mutineers in Group B after that weekend. So like I said, all these matches are magnified because if you're not in the top 3, you're in the losers bracket for the major. So everything is so important to get seeding. It's huge. I like the format this year. It's fun. Next up, LA Thieves versus Surge. I think LA take this one, so it's going to be tough for Surge. They're going to have to battle Rocker on the weekend, but I think they'll drop to LA. I mean, Kenny, Slasher, Temp, and TJ, they are gelling together. JCap as your coach, I mean, he's been won champs before, stellar in 4v4. He sees the game so well. And I mean, the way he works together with Slasher, him and Liticode are like, two peas in a pod. Thieves are a force to be reckoned with this year. Mark my words. Champs, potential out of them. Last matchup, another tight one. I think it'll be 3-2. It's going to be huge. Subliners, Rocker. You have Clay versus Attach. Those guys, they've been on a team together, so the storyline's set there for the Game Fuel marquee matchup. I think it'll be exciting. I think it's going to be a good matchup to end the weekend. And Call of Duty is back. I love it. I'm excited for all of these matchups. 10 matches on the weekend. I think most of them, like 6 to 8 of them, will be incredible, exciting, fun to watch. We have Merc and Maven back. Miles and Chance have done incredible. Lottie, Nameless. We saw an Abel on the desk. We saw Mr. X back like he has been back in the day. All things are right in the world. The virtual set, we're getting it there. We're getting it better. It's not bad. All you guys talking big smack. You don't know what they're going through and how hard it is on the broadcast. I'm going to bring myself back on camera here for a moment, but it just feels incredible to have the Call of Duty League back. The broadcast is great. The team is here. Everyone is here to stay, and we're in for a big, big season. I love it. The Call of Duty League is here. Let's make some more fans out of people. Word of mouth. Share everything with your friends, family, when you're playing in a game online in game chat. Say, yo, you watch the Call of Duty League? Yo, have you listened to The Rotation with Z-Hack? Go check out his podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. We talk about it. We have controversial takes, good conversation. Don't be afraid to talk to me at ZHack16 on Twitter. Share your take with me. We got to get going here. Fire these things off. We're almost an hour through. Thanks, guys, so much for listening. As always, make sure you like, subscribe as well. But now it's time to bring in a little bit of a new segment. Let's talk Overkill.
Overkill reactions around the Call of Duty League.
This segment is Overkill reactions. So you see stuff where it's kind of like, overrated or underrated. Is this an overreaction of a take or an underreaction and that's actually true? So I saw a couple things on Twitter that I kind of picked out to it and what people talked about. The first take that I've seen is Optic can't hang with the big boys. Overkill. That's a terrible overreaction. They will dial in their search and destroy. You do not need to worry about Optic Chicago. They will get in a groove. They're still one of the best respawn teams in Call of Duty. I know they dropped a hard point, but look how tight it was. It was like 250 to 244, and against FaZe, one of the best teams in the league, maybe the best in the league. That's an overkill to say that Optic can't hang. Once Dashy can use the sniper in SnD, and I guarantee you them and Sender, they had a big VOD review, big meeting. They went over there some things and said, yo, we played like ass in Search. Let's get it together. Optic Chicago will be just fine. All you fans out there, or any of the haters, they're going to be fine. That is overkill to say that they can't hang. Next one I saw, I already talked about my take on this. Subliners are trash. Overkill! Terrible reaction. Their series against Thieves easily could have gone 3-0 in favor of the Subliners. Could have gone 3-2. They were all such tight matchups, and New York has been dealing with a hell of a lot more problems than any other team in the league. Visa issues with Hydra, have to pick up a rookie who stepped into the role very nicely, but Clay will lead them. He'll get them back on track. You're an idiot if you think the Subliners are trash. Overkill reaction, shame on you, tisk tisk. The last one, Toronto got lucky. No, they didn't. Overkill. The Toronto Ultra are here to stay. They are a stellar team. Methods is gross. Bance is disgusting in 4v4 ever since being on Splice. He had a tough 5v5 bout, but 4v4 he's stellar. Kleenex and Cammy, the young guns, they'll pop off whatever game mode you need them. Respawns and Search, that is overkill to say that the Toronto Ultra got lucky against Florida. They deserved that 3-1. They proved a lot of people wrong, and they're here to stay as one of the top teams in the CDL. I hope you guys like this new segment. I kind of had fun with it. That is overkill. Overkill reactions throughout the Call of Duty League. I like it. I like the segment. It felt fun delivering that, but now it's time to hop in to everybody's favorite segment of the week. Give it to me, Scumpy. It is Who's the Best in the Game, and an underdog from the first week, Stage 1, the Atlanta home series, opening week of the Call of Duty League. The best in the game was a dynamic force around the map all weekend, making its presence known, making huge plays all the way around the map in search, in hardpoint, in control. A dynamic performance. Best in the game this week was the trophy system. Oh my gosh, did you guys see the trophies this week? They were picking up kills, they were team killing, they were winning rotations for team, they were pulling people off of objectives. It's the most powerful thing in the game. Who's the best in the game this week? It's the trophy system. But for real though, we're going to talk about a couple more things of who's the best in the game this week. So in reality, the best in the game, in my opinion, well, you have to go to a big player. He's got one of the best nicknames in the Call of Duty League. He was slaying out at a disgusting rate all weekend long. I'm giving you guys a lot of hints to take a chance on who it is. This last one might give it away. Best overall KD with a 1.39 on the weekend. He belongs to the defending champs, the Dallas Empire. The best in the game from the opening weekend was Hook the Nuke. Kyler was absolutely disgusting. You could not stop him. You could barely contain him this weekend. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the Call of Duty League. He's such a well-versed just human being. He's so kind. He grinds the game. You see his passion and how hard he works week in and week out, and it is translated. This Dallas Empire roster is just littered with talent. This week, Hook stepped up big. He was the best in the game all weekend long. I don't care what you say. I don't care that Dallas went 1-1 on the weekend. He was the best player on the map all weekend long. He will continue to be that throughout the season. He's soft-spoken, but he's a grinder. One of the best shooters on the map. Has great Call of Duty IQ. And makes his voice known when he needs to on this team. Hook was the best in the game on the individual side all week long. Best in the game on the team side, Atlanta FaZe, by far. Have to give it to them. They took on arguably the toughest opponent in the league, in Optic. And this was one of those moments where push comes to shove. You have the butterflies, pressure situation, map 5, and you go out and smoke them 6-1. You steal a hard point off one of the best respawn teams in the league. The Atlanta FaZe were the best in the game this weekend, and it shows why. They're the top of Group B. Lastly, this one is a funny one. The best in the game on Twitter this past weekend. Well, that award has to go to the Minnesota Rocker. I mean, if you didn't see it, shots were fired between them and the Dallas Empire. So essentially, what had happened here was it was on Valentine's Day, and we were on Twitter, of course we have to be, and the Dallas Empire tweet at the beginning of the day, they say, it's Valentine's Day, and you guys are giving optic phase, and we get Rocker. Yawn emoji. Rocker come out and win at 3-2, and their social media guy tweets back at Dallas Empire and just says, yawn emoji. And then, to put the icing on the cake, Krim responded to the Dallas Empire tweet where they said, yawn, you give us Minnesota Rocker. And Krim said something like, nice going, idiot. Who's the best in the game? The best social media of the week? It goes to the Minnesota Rocker. Thanks so much, everyone, for bearing with me and hanging in to the rotation with Z-Hack for the past hour. That will do it for the show today. I had a lot of fun today. There was a lot of big topics, a lot of things to talk about. It was a great time. Call of Duty is back. We are in for the best season ever. Make sure you guys share the podcast. Please, please, please. We're trying to get the numbers up. We're trying to get a lot more fans into the Call of Duty League, and I'm trying to explain things to them small like I did to my girlfriend this week. Trying to teach them about Call of Duty, break it down for them, give my takes, tell them what's going on throughout the scene. The rotation with Z-Hack on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Please rate, comment, like, subscribe on YouTube. Zach Warhack, ZACHWORHACK is where you can find the rotation with Z-Hack. Like, subscribe, comment. It means the world to me that you guys are sharing this passion with me because I love it. I know a lot of you guys are grinding out there to become a professional player. That's not my goal. I love the broadcast side of things. I love storytelling, and that's what I'm doing here on the rotation. So thank you all for the support and tuning in to this week, episode 4 of the rotation with Z-Hack. We will see you next time. Peace.